Good morning. So I've been wanting to do these for a long time. Don't know what's been keeping me. Been saying I'm too busy, I guess, but kind of a day in the life, sharing some goals and things. Now it's the beginning of the year. I figured it's a good time to share some goals. So I just read Awaken the Giant Within by Tony Robbins, or read part of it, the goal setting chapters last night, and he said just try to pick your biggest goal for you put down all your goals and you pick down the one goal in 4 different categories that you want to accomplish this year. So I figured I'd share those as again, accountability probably for myself and some vulnerability. So feel free to give me some encouragement because this is kind of new to me. So the first area was personal development. And so for me, a constant struggle, if you know me, has been time management. I embarrassingly show up late places. I self-sabotage myself. I'm not sure why I show up late even, because sometimes I'm on time and I'll still just wait around until I'm late. I don't know why that is. So trying to get control of my schedule is goal number 1 in the personal development area. So Tony Robbins also talks about that whatever goal you're doing is, of all the goals that you wrote down, what's the one thing that would probably make your next years in your life easier and easier rather than harder and harder. So trying to invest in yourself to get some of your time back. So I'm trying to focus on time management. So here's my attempt at that, time blocking today. The second area was business. And so for me, that's going to try to simplify for the first quarter, try to simplify, get out of some deals that I'm in, refinance my entire portfolio. I refinanced about half of it last year, going to refinance the other half this year. And so everything should be stable at the end of quarter 1. And then my goal for the year is to do one deal bigger than any deal I've done before. So rather than try to do dozens of deals and focus on volume like I did last year, this year I'm going to try to focus on quality. So it's going to be a lot of lead generation, a lot of making offers, and only pursue deals that are going to meet a certain threshold, which is a big threshold for me. So that's my business goal. The third area to set a goal was adventure, and I'm not good at adventuring lately. For the past 5-10 years since you become a dad, like you stop focusing so much on yourself. I used to travel and play paintball all over the country, and I would want this new gun or that new car or whatever, and now it's gotten kind of lame. So I wasn't able to come up with a goal for this year for the adventure category. So my goal this first quarter is to come up with 50 bucket list items. And then from there, figure out which bucket list item I'm going to do each year, and do one bucket list item each year for 50 years is the goal for now. God willing, if I do a big deal and grow a successful team and able to do more bucket list items faster, that would be great. But I'm excited to dream a little bit and then share some of those dreams as they get accomplished. So that'd be fun. And then the fourth area is contribution or giving. So for me, I love vacations. And even though I say bucket list item adventures I struggle with, we do take vacations, which I'm thankful for. But rather than take all the vacations myself, we want to give away a vacation this year to a family that's meets certain criteria for us. So someone that might not get to travel otherwise, or someone that is in that same phase similar to where we are, but more specifically to where we were a few years ago, where you're just in the grind, you have young kids. The idea of trying to afford a vacation might not be in your wheelhouse. And so if we're able to give someone a break, I think, a hardworking mom that's not getting much sleep, or a hardworking dad who wants to, is torn between vacations and paying bills and things, just to be able to give someone a break. Or maybe a pastor who doesn't have the money or doesn't prioritize vacations but still needs a break, someone that's deserving by certain metrics that we identified. So I like vacations, and if we can give a vacation and give someone else the feeling and the excitement that we get when we go on vacation, that would I think be fuel for me. So those are my 4 goals. Just trying to get some work done here in the morning before I start my day. Got some inspections. Got to meet with an attorney about some trust documents. And then crazy things always come up. So join me for the rest of the day and we will go from there. All right, happy travels. First step of the day after I took care of my office stuff is to meet a city inspector at a property that I manage. The inspector is going to go through the property, identify anything and everything he deems is wrong with the property or unsafe for rental compliance, and then we have 30 days to fix it. So I have 2 of those this morning. Luckily, they're with the same inspector. So I'll see what footage I can get of it. So that was easy. Let's talk about city inspectors for a minute. The issue with city inspectors is that code compliance, building code, it's left up to a human's interpretation of what the code should be. And they can be as strict or as lenient on that as they want to be. You can argue it if they say something that's completely wrong, but it's you versus them, and it's ultimately up to their interpretation. I've battled things before, and you end up talking to a supervisor, and the supervisor says, well, if the inspector said it, then it must be bad, and they don't really help you that much. So luckily, this one was recently remodeled by the previous owner. This tenant that we placed lived here for a year. She was a nurse. She had a baby while she lived here and needed something bigger, so she left. The downside is she did not give us 30 days notice. New Year's Eve is when her lease was up, and she wasn't answering her phone. The first came around, she didn't pay rent. The second came around. So I stopped by the house just to see I was going to knock on the door and see if she was home and she could tell me what was going on, only to find that the front yard had a bunch of trash in it. I thought, oh man, she trashed the house and moved out. And I came in and look at this. She shampooed the carpets. Deep cleaned everything. These blinds here are broken, but you can see that she dropped off new ones to replace them, which is, I've never seen anybody do that before. Bathroom, it still needs to be deep cleaned, but man, is it not in that bad a shape? It's been cleaned, needs to be deep cleaned, and there's really no, this is an easy one. The inspector came through, was only here for a couple minutes and said that everything checked out. He checked all the fire alarms, all the GFCI outlets, went downstairs. He said the house is in great shape and there's nothing out of compliance, and he wrote me the approval right away. That's never happened to me before. Normally they always find something. So it depends on the inspector. Certain inspectors are more understanding and nicer than others. Other ones are sticklers and find things wrong. I have one guy who will go unnamed, will inspect the same property, and then 3 years later come back to the same property and ding me for things that were there when he first inspected it, that he missed. So either he missed a bunch of stuff that were really issues, or he's finding things that aren't really issues. But again, the path of least resistance is just to spend the few $100s, fix those things, and get it re-rented as quickly as possible. So luckily this one, no repairs needed, quick and easy. Now I got to meet the same inspector here at the next one, which is going to be a lot rougher since this one here is vacant and well kept. The next one I bought on a land contract. It's a package of a bunch of properties together a couple years ago, and the tenant had lived there for maybe 15 years, heavy smoker. They smoke inside. Little 2-bedroom close to MSU campus. And the plan for that one was to raise the tenant's rent, and if they want to stay, they stay, and if they don't, I can renovate it and sell it. We did raise it, they did stay, and so it's kind of rough, and so we'll see how this inspection goes. I don't think it'll go nearly as well as this one, but it's kind of a roll of the dice anytime. All right. Second inspection of the day. Not a remodeled house. It did not go as smooth. But luckily just dinged for small stuff. Batteries out of fire alarms, things like that. Tenants behind on payments. It's gonna try to get help from the government to get caught up. So never a dull day. Now it's off to the gym. All right, here we are. Stop number 3 on today's tour is Ionia. So this is a duplex I bought, I don't know, 6 months ago, maybe longer. It's been a long time with this one. So originally the downstairs tenant was paying, upstairs tenant was not paying. He paid a month and then stopped. So a few months later, I evicted him, renovated that unit. Then the downstairs tenant, I don't even remember why we had an issue with him. Stopped paying. So we were in the process of evicting him, and there was vandalism upstairs, which I think was the downstairs tenant. It was a mess, but that resulted in an insurance claim. Someone broke the toilet with a baseball bat. It caused this hole, let me show you this, downstairs to fall. All of these walls had to be torn out because of mold and water damage. The floors had to be torn out. Big mess. So claim, got that taken care of, finished luckily there wasn't that much damage to the upstairs unit, so got that rented right away. And we're on the tail end of redoing this unit downstairs. But just seems to be one delay after another. First the drywaller couldn't get started, then he had some issues finishing. Then I had to replace this part, show you. So here through the kitchen, the ceiling was all leaking, so we had to rebuild that. We re-roofed it from the outside first, which is the sheeting you see here, and then now we have to re-insulate it and finish drywalling it, which is what my painter guys are supposed to be doing. But the materials aren't going to be here until January 7th. I just texted him and asked if he's able to finish everything he can do while we're waiting for materials. That way it can get finished. We can finish sanding it, paint it. That way we can put the carpet in as soon as the trim comes in, and get it wrapped up. But project management just takes so much time, because you think you're going to ask someone to do something, and it's never that simple as just, yeah, I'll do it by Friday, because people get sick, people's lives change, materials are out, so there's always issues. So this is the intro. Come in through here into this dining room, landing room space. First door to the left here is the bathroom. It does have washer dryer hookup, so I'm going to put a stackable there. Tub is in good shape, so I'll probably tile this around, put in a new vanity. Toilet's new, so we'll leave that. They did just put in new drywall in the ceiling here. So that's the bathroom. You can see kind of the layout from here. So right off the dining room is the kitchen with this little bar tops, which is kind of cool. I'm going to leave the existing cabinets because there are these custom built-in cabinets that even have a cold air return built in, so kind of a pain to replace. But we'll paint those and clean those up, put on a new countertop most likely, new stove. This is a funny story. Here's a new refrigerator. I got it for a different house. It didn't fit, so I had to get a different one for the other house, so I had to pay my movers to move this one here. All in a day's work. And then this is that mudroom area, or not mudroom, this is the 3 seasons, 4 seasons room kind of area, reading nook, whatever you want to call it. And then through here is the living room. So nice tall ceilings in here, tall windows, wall air conditioner. I actually like those. Some people have issues with them. I like that you don't have to take it in and out each year. I like that they're fairly inexpensive to replace if they break. I can offer air conditioning to tenants, which makes them happy, and it's not nearly as expensive to install as central air. Bedroom number 1, again, tall ceilings, new drywall. All this along the bottom was part of the insurance claim that had to be redone. Closet there, obviously need a door, but it's coming, it's very close. Then bedroom 2 here is huge. There's a lot that could be done with this, but right now it's just one big open room here that I'll just use as a second bedroom. So that number 3. Good. Lunchtime. Quick lunch break after my workout, and headed to an attorney's office now in East Lansing to wrap up a closing from a client I had last week. You have to know what you're doing when it comes to real estate, and This is a trust, or a house that was owned by a trust of a family that I know. The grandmother had passed away, and the I say grandmother because I'm friends with the grandson, and it was his parents that were selling it. Well, his dad and uncle. Anyway, on behalf of the trust. So at the closing, you have to have all your trust paperwork, and 3 days before closing, there was an issue with the trust. So we had to request an updated copy from the attorney, and luckily they were able to get it over to us via email. We forwarded that to the title company, and then we showed up to title, only to find out that not only did the title company want the stamped copies, which were available from the attorney who was closed for the holidays, they also discovered that there was a typo on the trust document. So the title company was able to do us a real solid and close anyway, with the promise that the first business day back I would get the updated, proper, stamped trust documents from the attorney and drop it off to the title company to complete their file. So here I am driving to the other side of town to get this wrapped up. Just another day in the life of an agent. So bouncing around wearing many hats today, from agent to landlord to investor. It's never dull. Got the documents. All right, last appointment of the day. Just got off the phone with my attorney, trying to set up a trust and power of attorney for a subject to property I bought wrong a couple years ago. It's been a bit of a mess. I'm sure we'll get into that eventually, but also had to meet this contractor here who just finished up. We got going here, kept the original cabinets when I bought this property, had those painted. Lower cabinets I was going to paint, but they were pretty rough, so we replaced them with these ones. Very basic. Probably going to paint the bottom ones like a dark gray, so it kind of has that contrast. Not the countertop I wanted, but apparently the one I wanted was out of stock, and for speed we just went with it. So this is above a garage of a 9-unit that I bought, but it works. Need to put in new AC there, have the painter come back and clean up. As you can see, he oversprayed on the floor for some reason. But the biggest thing this contractor was doing today is putting this tile in. So already have carpet in, painter already painted. A few punch list items, need to put up blinds, change the doorknobs, clean up the floors, but it's coming. This one I think we'll be able to list probably next week for rent. And now all of a sudden we have a ton of vacancies. So they had a tenant move out unexpectedly earlier. This one was supposed to be done a week or so ago and just is now getting wrapped up. So looks like in January we have 4 or 5 vacancies, which is not ideal, but I guess January is better than November, since things kind of dip down November, December, and then they start picking back up in January. So things will hopefully get better and better, and I will keep you updated on filling these vacancies.
I see all of this is a log now.